Welcome to Jump Math Grade 6. This is Book 2, page 73, 74, 75, and 76. So this is about modeling equations. So to build a model, you draw a picture, or you build something to make a diagram that makes it make sense to you. So that's what we're going to be doing for each of these questions. Number 1, each bag contains the same number of the same unknown number of apples. Let x stand for the number of apples in one bag. Write a mathematical expression for the total number of apples. So we don't know how many are in here. So to make the mathematical expression, we're simply going to say x plus 2. And so an expression doesn't have an equal sign because it's not an equation. An equation can be solved. An expression is just a representation of the picture. So what would b? It would be x plus 3. Do you have any idea for c what that would be? Well, if we have all these x's, we would call this 3x, or 3 times x. So if there was 10 in each bag, it would be 30, right? Okay, let's move on. It says write an expression for the total number of apples. Write an equation by making the expression equal to the total number of apples. So the expression is 2x plus 1. And if it says there are 7 apples for A, then to write the equation, we just use the expression 2x plus 1, and we set it equal to 7. So you can see where the 7 is coming from. That's information that needs to be given to us. I'll do B. Let's see if you guys can do C. So what's the expression here? Well, there's 2x because there's these 2 bags, and then it's plus 4 apples. So 2x plus 4 equals 10 would be my equation. See if you can do C on your own. Let's move on. 3, write an equation to find the number of apples in each bag. So this one you actually need to now solve your equation. So for this one, they show here's our 4x's. 4x plus 1 equals 9. And then they solve this. So how do they solve it? Well, first they go minus 1 on each side. So you'd have 4x then equals 8. So if I have 4 bags of apples and there's 8 apples altogether, how many are in each bag? Well, I would take and divide each side by 4. So this one divided by 4, this one divided by 4, and you'd find that x equals 2. So in your mind, you could probably count out that this one has 2 apples, 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 and that makes 9 apples altogether. Okay? So let's try B. Equation is going to be 2x from the 2 bags plus 3. And if we know that it's equal to 13 apples, how many must be in each bag? Well, if we take 3 off, that means these 10 apples have to be in these 2 bags, right? So over here, that would be going minus 3 and minus 3. So now I'd have 2x equals 10. So 2 bags of apples equals 10 apples. How much would each bag be? Hopefully you can see that that must be 5 in that bag and 5 in that bag. So what I really do here in the math side of it is I go divide by 2 and divide by 2, and so I'm finding that x equals 5. Okay, let's move on. Try the rest of those ones. For question 4, it says, does this type of model work for 3x minus 4 equals 14? Well, it's kind of hard to draw negative 4 apples, so that might be a little bit difficult. And also, if you work this one out, yeah, it's just hard to draw negative apples. So there must be a better way to do this. Let's see what happens on page 74. For question 5, it says the scales are balanced. cross out the same number of apples on each side to find out how many apples are in the bag. So I'll cross out 2 here and 2 here. So how many apples must be in the bag? 3, because I can see there's 3 left over here, so there must be 3 in that bag to balance it out. See if you can do B by crossing off apples. Down here it says, an equation is like balanced scales. An equal sign between the sides shows that they are equal. To solve x plus 4 equals 10, subtract 4 from both sides of the equation. And they're showing that work to you right here. If I subtract 4 from both sides, that's like crossing off 4 apples from both sides, then I'm going to find out how many apples are in the bag, or 6 apples. And here's the picture over here that shows you the 4 apples being crossed off. So this is a great way to think about balancing equations. Let's move on. For question 6, they've set up the equations for us with the subtractants already listed in. So for this one, x plus 4 equals 12, subtract 4 from both sides, and you get x equals 8. Let's do B together as notes. So again, we've got x plus 4 equals 9. We subtract 4 from both sides. 9 minus 4 is, right here, 9 minus 4 is 5. And of course, 4 minus 4 is 0, so it cancels itself off, and all that's left is the x. Okay? Just going to get rid of some of those lines. Let's look at number 7. I'm just going to change up the color here for a second. This one says subtract the same number from both sides of the equation. So x plus 15 equals 32. We need to subtract 15 from both sides. What's 32 take away 15? It happens to be 17. So in A, x is 17. Okay? X plus 43 is 59 for B. 59 take away 43 happens to be 16. So x is 16. Try out C and D, and then we will move on. So for number 8, it says, which number will you subtract from both sides to solve the equation? A has been started for us, so let's look at this one. We're going to subtract 5 from both sides because I've got 5 over here that I need to get rid of. 12 take away 5 happens to be 7. Looking at B, what are we going to subtract from both sides? We'll take away 14, and 29 take away 14 happens to be 15. So we've solved for x here. See if you can do the next few. And 9 is the same. See if you can continue those without them putting the little boxes in place for you. Okay, let's move on. For number 10, it says the scales are balanced. All the bags in the picture have the same number of apples. How many apples are in each bag? So we could see there's 3 bags over here. So if I put bags around the apples equally, you'd see that there's 2 apples in each bag. See if you can do B. Moving on to 11, complete the picture and solve the equation. 12 equals 3 times B. So there's a picture drawn, and we've got the 12 apples drawn. So if I put the 3 bags around the 12 apples, you'll see that there are 4 in each bag. So for B, I'm going to have to draw in my 10 apples. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then I have 2 bags, so I'm going to say, well, there's 1 bag, there's 2 bags. How many bags are in? How many apples are in each bag, rather? It's 5. Let's move. For question 12, it's saying evaluate, so we simply multiply out. 5 times 3 happens to be 15. 15 divided by 3 is 5. 3 times 6 is 18. 18 divided by 6 is 3. And you'll notice pattern happening there. It gives us some instruction here. Multiplying and dividing by the same number gets you back to the number you started with. For example, 4 times 3 is 12. so 12 divided by 3 equals 4. Or 4 times 3 divided by 3 equals 4. You can do the same with unknown numbers and letters and pictures. A bag times 3 equals 3 bags. 3 bags divided by 3 equals 1 bag. So it shows you that right here. What number will you divide the expression by to get b? So if it's b times 3, what do we need to divide by to find b? We're going to divide by 3. If it's b times 8, what do we need to divide by? 8. If it's b times 5, what do we need to divide by? 5. So whatever the factor is times 3, that's what you're going to be dividing by. Let's move. So this helps us with dividing both sides by the same number to solve the equation. So I has been done for us. B times 3 is 15. So if we divide both sides by 3, we'll find that B has 5 in it. The bags have 5 in it. B times 5 is 20. So what are we going to do? B times 5 divided by 5 is going to equal 20 divided by 5. So in this case, our B equals 4. Okay? See if you can write out this one here. Okay, let's move on. Our equations are getting more complex, so let's look at B here. 2 times B, we got the 2 bags, plus 1, so I need to draw in an apple, equals 5. So I'm going to draw in, oh, my pen's not working, 5 apples. Okay. For C, it's 7, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 equals 3 bags plus 1. So I need another apple on that scale. It says you can solve 7 equals 2 times b plus 1 in 2 steps using a balance. Step 1, cross out one of the apples. So we cross it out. Step 2, divide each side to solve the equation. So here you see they divide and divide. Now I've got 1 bag equals 3 apples. Okay, so you can see the 2 bags here and the 2 bags here. So we'll do 2-step equation solves in the next part. For 16a, we've got 2 times b plus 3 apples equals 9. You can see the 3 apples are crossed off, and that gives us 2 times b equals 6. So what does b equal? Well, we got to divide both sides by 2, and we get b equals 3. So you can see if I put 3 apples in each bag, that covers my 2 bags up here. Okay, see if you can use the drawing and the equation to figure out b. Let's look at 17. I'll do 17c for you, and then you can finish a, b, and d. So here we are, 8 apples. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I'm going to go 7, 8. Equals 3 bags plus 2. So the first step is to cross off some apples. So we'll take these 2 and cross them off. The second step would be to, well, first we'll write that down. So now we have 6 equals 3 times b. And then we will take this and go, well, we've got our 3 bags. How many would be in each bag? And you can kind of see it there that there would be 2 in each bag. And what I do is I divide both sides by 3. So 6 divided by 3 and 3 times b divided by 3. So in the apple bags there are 2 apples. Well, that was a long introduction to patterns in algebra. Hopefully you can find some mastery of this idea. Try to work through B and D and let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.